Yo,
Yeah.
you can
All
hear
right.
me?
So I can hear you, and this time it doesn't seem to be crackling.
Yeah. So instead of using my phone, I'm using
Yeah.
my I'm using my laptop right now.
You're using your laptop,
Yeah.
but
Instead of
it's
my
crackling. It was crackling when I was talking, but now it's not. All right.
yeah, that's not.
Okay, that sounds better. All right. So, and you can hear me, yes?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Now we're gonna look at this and see what's going on. Um. All right. So the price is for Bitcoin is 9,769.
Mhm.
Right. We have a massive gap that starts at 9,666, like 9666.
Mhm.
The bottom is 9659. So like the confirmed bottom, but that's for the 15 minute. For the 15 minutes. So the confirmed bottom for the 15 minute is 9658. The confirmed bottom for the 5 minute is 96. It's also 9658. But within the Bollinger, the bottom of the Bollinger for the 5 minute is 9708, 9,708, with support at 9699. And the thing that was really crazy about the 96, I noticed it was like 9683. 9683 was the main resistance all day today. It was 968 to 9693. And then after that, just clear breakaway up, just a clear break up um, until you got to like 9,800 kind of. It was, and basically here, like 9,000, where we are right now. And so now what's going on is it's testing this resistance, and there's resistance at 9770. I mean, that's for the 5 minute. Let me look at bigger time frames and see. But there's like, you can see the resistance that
Oh,
like
hey,
my volume share I was trying to show you before.
yo.
Yeah.
So how do I see this resistance? Because I have a trading view like we had set it up yesterday. I have a trading
Right.
view.
See, that's the problem. So there's the resistance, the support and resistance indicator that you have. That's free, right?
Mhm.
And then in order to be able to see the volume, as you know, to see the resistance and support, you have to get pro. But this pro, there's other indicators there. So we gotta look and see which ones, and we'll find out like which ones are just available. But I also think that you can only have like three indicators at once. Like if you're using free trading view. And then once you do pro or you start to kind of pay, they allow you to add on more.
How much is the pro?
I believe like pro or pro plus. I think we're using pro plus. It's like 29. I'm thinking in pounds. So it's like
Mhm.
29 pounds. So I think it's like $35 a month or something. And but there's a cheaper level where you can I have to see. I'm just trying to look at these charts right now, but I'm pretty sure there's a cheaper level where you can get like five indicators all at once. Um, the Bollinger Bands, and then the Bollinger Bands, and then the funding seem to be seem to be some good free hacks in regards like remember the BitMEX funding indicator? I don't remember what it's called. You remember that indicator I told you to get for the funding where it shows
Dynamic,
you
dynamic,
right,
whatever.
yeah, dynamic funding. It shows you basically who's over leveraged short, who's over leveraged long. Um, the main thing right now is there's a gap, man. There's a gap. There's definitely a clear, blatant gap that closes out at 9,675. But what this also shows is that this thing has been trending up because the price 9,420, 9,467, the bottom. That's the bottom for the 1 hour. 9,000. So just the all of the confirmed bottoms basically go at 9,209, which was on May 15th. Is that correct? May 15th? Tuesday. Yeah, May 15th. 9,097 on May 15th later that night. 9,262. 9,420 May 18th. 9,467 May 19th. And so our last confirmed bottom was 9,467. The bottom before that was 9,420. The bottom before that was 9,262. So it's trending up. That's the hourly. If you look at the daily, you got the same deal. It's trending up. But obviously, the confirmed bottoms, 3,730, then 6,464. And so we haven't actually confirmed the bottom for the daily just yet. Daily chart on TradingView. But it's weird, man. It seems really bullish right now.
Mm-hmm.
It seems really bullish. It seems like it's gonna break out. It seems really bullish. It seems like it's gonna break up and test 10K again. And it doesn't really seem like. It seems like it'll break out when it does, and that's not like that's like pure speculation. But today, the resistance at 9,683 to 9,693 was so massive by comparison to the rest of the volume.
And it broke through that shit, right?
And it broke through, and so now the resistance by comparison to what we just broke through is nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing by comparison. So what's really going on right now is it's just slowly eating away and not quite going down. But we have like long days and then we have short days. So I would imagine that this day would eventually die off. Let's see what's going on with CoinFarm. It's weird, man. It's like it's in a FOMO. It's trading sideways in this weird FOMO pattern. Like FOMO.
Yeah, it is trading sideways.
You don't want to really long up here because you're at the top of the Bollinger for basically every time frame, and then at the same time, it's not really going down. It's like if you try to short, you find yourself in the negative immediately, and just trying to catch up and dollar cost averaging up. Like it's not ready to go down. All right, so on CoinFarm, on ByBit for CoinFarm, we got 20. I think I saw it was like 20 million before, like when I first called. So I'm gonna see what it is now. See if it's trending down or trending up. Yeah, it's going up. So it was 20 million when I called you. Now it's 22. 22.7.
What are you talking about?
ByBit buys versus sells, like the difference. Because so there's 716 million in volume and buy volume.
Are we looking at the same thing?
Yeah, ByBit, BTC, USDT.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm seeing, what are you seeing? Because you're always looking at something weird. You always look at a little weird chart down there at the bottom. I look immediately at the
I'm looking at
sells versus the buys.
I'm looking at the one in the middle. It says 1 million, 1.1 million.
Are you looking at ByBit, BTC, USDT?
Yes. It says 1 million, 1.1 million, right here in the middle.
1.1 million where? Where do you see that?
Like right here, like right in between buy and sell, right here in the middle, it says like 1.1 million.
For ByBit, BTC / USD.
Yes.
You're not looking at Ethereum.
No.
and you see 1.1 million.
What do you see? What do you...
I see 23,271,707 USD last 24 hours.
I don't see that at all.
Refresh your screen, man.
The hell? Why would they do that?
What happened?
No, it's like, why would it do that? That's so...
Why would what do what?
So
What
I
happened?
mean, I refresh the screen.
Do you see it or no?
Yeah, I see
You
it
see?
now.
Okay. It's okay. It's fine. All right. So it's going up. It's going up. The buys are going up. The buys were like the difference, right? That difference is increasing. It's 50%, 50.82% more buys than sells on ByBit.
Yeah.
Now, usually people go by BitMEX. BitMEX has been having some trouble. You know, they got lawsuits. They got all sorts of crazy shit going on right now. There's some article about it. I'm not going to get into Arthur Hayes and his drama. Nobody wants that drama. Wait. So I'm just going to look. I'm going to keep it on ByBit for now. I'm going to keep it on ByBit. Keep it focused on ByBit. But, okay, so look at Ethereum. Let's look at Ethereum really quick. So for Ethereum, man, it's looking like for Ethereum, it's looking like the sells are actually outnumbering the sells are actually outnumbering the buys on ByBit.
Yeah, exactly.
But usually what happens is Bitcoin kind of surges first, and then it trickles into Ethereum when it's like really running. So like whatever's going on with Bitcoin is usually a major sign of what's going to happen with Ethereum.
Yeah, exactly. Because this little 1 million, 1.7, this shit could change in a second.
Right. So this could shift. So, but for the record, it's 1,751,995 sells over buys. So there's more. That's 1.7 million more sells than buys of Ethereum, and the trend has been trending down. So the sells have actually been decreasing with Ethereum.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Bitcoin just started running, and Ethereum is slowly catching up. That's what it looks like. Now, I remember Ethereum was like 213 though. It was 213 and then 214. So it's 212 right now. 212.
So I'm back on Bitcoin, man. It's just kind of fluctuated. It was just at 23 million. Now it's at 20 million. So now it's just, I think it's just going back and forth between, I don't know, bro.
Yeah. You know, if it drops significantly, if it just cuts in half, in a blink of an eye, usually that's like a major sign that it's going the other way. But if it's like 2 or 3 million, you know, that doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
All right, so how would you trade this? What do you think? What do you think we should do?
I mean, I would, long Bitcoin and short USDT on the other side.
So you long Bitcoin and you short USDT on the other side on ByBit. So and with DYDX, what would you do? With Ethereum, what would you do?
I would do the same. In a situation like this, I don't know where it's gonna go.
So what you're saying is you would take a margin, you do a margin short?
Margin short, yeah.
Of USDC? USDC versus Ethereum?
Yeah.
How much leverage? How much leverage would you use?
Maybe like 3.75.
2.75 leverage.
Just because of the bullishness of it. So right now the buys are at 28 million. All right.
Right.
So I mean it is trying to trend up. It is.
Right. And to be clear, because I don't know if anyone will ever will ever listen to this, but if anyone ever listens to this, to be clear, what we're saying is, oh wait, our Bitcoin just went up 28. Now it's 28 million buys. Like, did the price go up?
I don't know what the price was last month.
It's 9,723. All right, we're specifically talking about in terms of like, if you have, let's say as an example, if you have like $500, or if you have $100, let's say you have $100, and you put that on DYDX, and you cut that in half Ethereum, half DAI. You could then essentially borrow $50 against that $100, 50 USDC, and that would give you a debt of 50 USDC. And then, and this is just like the brief, quick explanation for anybody who already knows what DYDX is and already knows what the hell we're talking about. I am gonna have like an episode that just kind of explains this stuff in more detail. But for people who understand what it is and they're just kind of confused as to what should they do, how do things work, and what position should they take, whatever. This is just an example, thought experiment. So you have $50 of USDC now, and you can go on Uniswap and you can swap that for Ethereum, and you can send that Ethereum over to ByBit. Now, when you send that Ethereum to ByBit, you can then exchange that Ethereum for Bitcoin, or you can just trade Ethereum. And now you have funds over there to trade on ByBit, and you also have that debt. One very convenient way to pay off that debt is to then actually do a short against USDC, do a margin short against your debt. It would increase your debt slightly, but again, you have that DAI kind of supporting you, and you actually could have borrowed $75. Not to get too complicated with it, but you actually could have borrowed 75. You left a little bit on the table. For cushion, so that you could actually do a short, a margin short against Ethereum. You also have some Ethereum. If the price goes up, your collateral value goes up. I'm going to explain that in more detail in another episode, maybe even a segment after this or before this. But that's just to kind of explain what you were talking about, something like what you were just talking about. All right. So anyway, what do you think we should really do? What do you think someone should really do that's trying to trade this? Because it's kind of scary, man, because it's at the top right here by the resistance being for Bitcoin, the resistance being 9,828. The price is 9,720.
Yeah.
The resistance is 9,828 and the price is 9,720. And it's been consistently just pushing up. Like if you look at the 1 minute, not that anyone should ever use it. I don't like the 1 minute. I don't like using 1 minute for anything. But if you just look at it as a pattern to see where the price has been going, it's been consistently staying. You got 9,704, 9,717, 9,742, 9,715, 9,711. So the price has been consistently in this 9,700 range, and there's a gap here. It's kind of like slowly trying to fill that gap without actually dumping. So it just seems like it's not really trying to go down at all. It's trying to just stay consistently up. And then when it comes down, the lows are getting higher and the highs are getting higher. Would you agree?
Yeah.
The lows are getting higher and the highs are getting higher. So I don't know. On ByBit for the 2 hour, it hit the top of the Bollinger and the price kind of dipped down a little bit, and it does look like it might be starting to go down to the bottom of the Bollinger for the 2 hour. And the bottom of the Bollinger for the 2 hour is 9,547.
You think it's going to hit the ball?
Yeah, I think it always does. But I think like when it breaks out, then it doesn't for a while, or it trends up kind of crazy, and then the whole thing can change. I think a lot of stuff can shift.
Yeah, it can shift real quick.
It can shift, but I think you look at it and it's going to hit the top of the Bollinger, cross the top, and then go to the bottom and cross the bottom and then go back to the top. You know that. But when you're seeing the momentum and you're seeing these big buy walls, you think, oh man, it's going to break out. Oh, I got to get in. I got to FOMO in. And it's kind of like seeing watching a movie where you know how the movie's going to end. You know it's going to go to the bottom. You know it's going to go to the bottom, but you just don't know how and when, and it just doesn't look like it's possible. And then it just dumps, or things just shift up, and the next thing you know, it's at the bottom, and you're like, damn, I bought high, and now I feel it's like I got to sell low, or I got to increase leverage to buy lower, and now things are closer to my liquidation. And if you're using low leverage, if you're using like 5x leverage, you probably don't care at all.
The 2 hour right now looks like it's going down.
The 2 hour is going down, and it's about to cross, and it's going to the bottom. And it is going to the bottom.
Should I ride this down? This it's not enough to ride down as a short. Should I?
When you write it down, you mean like short it?
Yeah, short it.
I mean, I don't know. But if you look at Coin Farm, it looks like it's just a temporary, consolidation.
Yeah, it's all right, man.
But if you look at TradingView on the 1 minute, it looks like it's a parabolic dump. That's why I hate the 1 minute. 1 minute looks like the sky is falling right now.
Parabolic dump.
Like a parabolic, it looks like everybody's about to get wrecked. At 1 minute, man. At 1 minute, it's not looking good. She loves looking at that 1 minute all the time. She's always, every time, I hate it. Every time I look at her charts, it's always on the 1 minute. And I'm always like, why? And I always get confused. I'm like, oh God, the sky is falling. I got to dump. It's dumping. I'm like, oh wait, that's just the 1 minute.
Oh yeah, that's the 1 minute.
Yeah. All right, so it's gonna eventually go down to 9,500, and if it doesn't, that would be incredibly bullish. But it's going to eventually go down there. Gaps always get filled. It's gonna fill these gaps. There's a gap at 9,670, and there's a massive wall of resistance. So yeah, it's gonna eventually go down there. The question is, how low can it go? And it looks like it can still go to 9,400 something. It looks like that.
So you think I should open up a short on the other side with USDT right now?
Well, a short right here wouldn't be that bad at all. Short wouldn't be bad.
Man, every time I go to this USDT perpetual shit,
It's very confusing.
It is, but I always change my background to like. I always have to change my chart settings, and it never like freaking sticks. Every time I go to this shit. You can't drag the orders. You can't click on the order book and have that shit populated in the fucking thing. It has some good features, but some other features I don't like, man.
Even when it's going down, it's going up, man. This is crazy. I mean, we're at 27 million on Coin Farm still. So even with that little dip, it didn't really do anything.
It would be good to put a short in right here.
If you have if you're trying to hedge a position, it would be good to put a short in here. I think only if you're trying to hedge a position, because there's a lot of support became resistance became support. So that big hurdle, that big hump at 9,683 to 9,693 is now support. It was resistance all day, and then when we broke it, it's now support. And so obviously we can break it, but we're at the top of the range, and we're really testing the other resistance, the higher resistance up. We're not really going down to it's a lot of buys. If you look at the market depth, which never really means anything, to be honest, but it's a lot of buy. Like, unless it's like ridiculous like that, it's just massive buys, massive buys versus sells. It's crazy. It's like a mountain. It's like a molehill. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm looking at it. It's like,
yeah, it's insane. So like, I just wouldn't. I would only put short in if I had a long that I was trying to hedge. Like, and I would put 10%. Like, if I had $200 that I was longing, I would short with $25. 10x. If I was long it with 200, 5x, I would short with 25, like 15, 20x on the short side. I would short with 10% of what I'm longing with at 4 times the leverage, or 2 times the leverage at least. That's what I would do. They got ByBit, they got this thing called insurance now, and I don't really know if it's really worth it. I think it's probably just better just to use low leverage and hedge on one side, and try to scale it up insanely ridiculous. In 2017, when this is the thing that's going to be hard for me to imagine, is I saw the price of Bitcoin just go ridiculously. Bitcoin turned in from it was Bitcoin, and then it turned into Godzilla. So like the price just started scaling up, like 500, then 1,000 at a time, 2,000 at a time, like in a day. It was just moving, and it would have these little like dips, but then it was by the end of the day. So every 4 days you're just up, and that's what's going to happen with this bull run. It's going to be like that for 1,000 days, basically for 1,000 days exactly, as it goes towards 4,500% gain minimum. It's over the course of that 1,000 days. There's going to be every 4 days. It's gonna be higher than it was before, and you'll never be able to get that price again. So that's how it's gonna be, and it's kind of like that already. But I think people are just they're not noticing it because you're in the moment of it. Like we saw 2 months, the price went up to the top of the Bollinger. It hit like 10K, and then dumped back down. The same with Ethereum. We were just looking at it. We went to 205. It broke 205 because the top of the weekly was 205. Broke 205. It went to 290 something. I think it was like 292. When the top of the weekly was 205. Now the top of the weekly is 258, and it still hasn't hit it yet. That's the part of the thing. It hasn't quite hit it yet, But if it were to break, the first line of resistance for Ethereum is 315. So if it breaks the top of the Bollinger, which is 258, the next resistance is 315. So the next expected price is like 315, and then it may dump back down. But I think most people expect it to not do that, or most people think that first line of resistance is it might break through, it might not. I don't know. But when it dumps back down, you would expect it to go to settle much higher than the 87 that it settled at last time it dumped from 292, because it dumped from 292 all the way down to $87. And so the next bottom is like what? Like maybe it's going to be 128, maybe it could be 97, and essentially we'd still be trending up because it's higher lows.
yeah.
So it looks like it looked like it was going to be 97. It actually did look like it was going to be 90, which is crazy for Ethereum to be 213 heading towards 255, and for us to sit here and say, oh, it's going to be $97 probably the next 3 or 4 weeks or so. But I don't know, this whole halving thing and Corona, I personally think Corona has no impact on this whatsoever. Maria's been saying that she thinks it does. Like, she thinks the pandemic is a part of the price movement and stuff. I don't think it has anything to do with it at all. I think it's just technical analysis, business as usual. Because it hasn't done anything that we don't expect it to do yet. What do you think? Do you think coronavirus is the reason crypto is moving?
I don't know, bro. I mean, I would say since I'm here at the house, like I have a lot more time to trade.
Yeah.
So I imagine that people.
A lot more people are. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's up to 30 million now. The buys are up to 30 million now on CoinFarm.
All right, man. So what's the deal right now?
The deal is, it's like that doesn't mean anything. That's the deal. Is that those buys increasing doesn't mean anything because the price doesn't really move up from the volume. I don't know how why that is, but it doesn't move up. But it also doesn't move down. I know that. So like, I would say to try to accumulate with low leverage and not worry about it. But if you're trying to make a moonshot and you're going ham sandwich. If you're going ham sandwich with the leverage, then drink a lot of coffee because you're not going to be able to sleep. I know that. So if you want to be able to rest, use low leverage, then you probably won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, man. I gotta rest. I can't stay up all night tonight, and
I don't see this thing going below. I don't see it going below. I don't see it going. I don't honestly. I don't see Bitcoin going below 9,400. I want to say ever again, but the truth is, if it is business as usual, then the halving doesn't really mean much for at least a month or so. It's not going to mean that much. And then once we go down one more time, which I think is probably going to be somewhere like 7,400. We got a gap down at 6,200. There's a gap down at 6,200, but that was before the halving, so who knows? Maybe the bottom will be 7,400 now, maybe because of the halving, and maybe we never fill that gap. But gaps always get filled. But I would say that if it does go down, if it dips down from this 10,000, which would be 11,000, because the next resistance above 10K is 11,000. If we do make it to 11,000, and then we get sent back down, I would say it would go to 7,400, 7,700, and probably never go lower than that ever again. At that point, I think that's when the run starts to happen. I think that's what I think. We got a gap at 6,200. I don't see the price ever going down and then not filling the gap. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, because filling the gap would allow it to really take off, right?
Yeah, it will. The only thing is, the question is like, well, what does the halving really mean? Because I'm one of those people that I believe that this is programmable value.
Yeah.
It's not really money. It's programmable. It's code, and there's psychology involved in how people are getting it. But then that code aspect of it, the tokenomics of it, really creates fundamentals. It makes fundamental analysis more significant, and actually bleed into the TA. I think the fundamental analysis, because usually a lot of fundamental analysis, and technical analysis can just kind of exist independent of each other. But I sincerely believe that when the halving, like this halving now, it means that fundamental analysis.
So when you say fundamental analysis and technical analysis, what do you mean? Like, what is the difference between the two ways of fundamental and technical analysis?
Okay, well, technical is what we've been doing with TradingView with all the indicators and the Bollinger Bands and looking at the volume and
Okay.
looking and this identifying the
Mm.
gaps, support, resistance, all the oscillators.
Mm.
Fundamental analysis is like, oh, there will only ever be 27 million and really 24 million Bitcoin. And um, the amount, how decentralized Bitcoin is, how many people are holding it, and what is Bitcoin used for? What is the asset used for? And why is the asset valuable? And how much more valuable is the asset compared to gold or asset compared to US dollar and the fact that it's deflationary. Like a lot of people are always saying, okay, Bitcoin's valuable because it's deflationary. It's deflationary. Inflationary means that the money printer goes brrr, like that's a meme thing. People were like, oh, the money printer goes brrr. I was like, you can just kind of print it forever. Like you see the U.S. government is just, they're doing the payouts. A lot of governments are paying out money because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
Um, and that's because they have an infinite supply of fiat currency that can print it out forever, whereas there's only ever going to be a finite supply of Bitcoin, and so that makes it deflationary. That means you're going to be able to buy more commodities and assets with it as time goes on. Whereas like you always hear Warren Buffett talk about the how you could get so much with 30 cents, not just a stick of bubble gum, but a stick of bubble gum and a Coca-Cola and a loaf of bread, but now all you can do is can't even get a stick of bubble gum with 30 cents. It's like inflation happens and you can't get as many assets, as many commodities with your currency.
Yeah.
That's the that's fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis is the whole culture for Bitcoin is like the whole culture of Satoshi, and and knowing like the developers and paying attention to like the mining, the halvening, and the supply versus demand. Whereas traders, ironically, with TA, like the price of Bitcoin can go up or down, can dump massively, and be completely independent of supply and demand. No one would really care. Half the time, OTC exchange, like a lot of people are trading over the counter where it doesn't impact the price at all. And so a lot of Bitcoin is changing hands that doesn't even show up on order books. And that's more fundamental than technical. You know what I mean? Because it's not priced in. That stuff's not priced in. So that's definitely fundamental. Just knowing that people are hoarding Bitcoin or accumulating it in droves, like going out and gathering it and accumulating as much as possible behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And then you hear all these different reports about different funds and different projects, like different investors, JP Morgan Chase getting involved. You hear about it and it doesn't really move the price at all. It doesn't really move the price, but deep down people know. And so when the halving happens and the perfect storm starts to kind of occur, eventually what's going to happen is there's going to be a run on Bitcoin. If there already isn't, there's going to be less Bitcoin on these sites, less Bitcoin on these trading platforms, less Bitcoin. And when that starts to happen, I would imagine the price would that would be a fundamental rise. But right now it's all just speculation. It's all moonshots and Planet Nibiru and Lambos. Still, I think. I don't think that it's leverage, it's over leverage, a lot of leverage. And that's what that funding indicator is about. That BitMEX funding indicator shows you how much leverage, how over leveraged people are, how much borrowing is going on the short side or the long side. And when you see that there's significant amount of shorting, borrowing on the short side more than there is on the long side, okay, the price is going to go up soon. People are going to start getting liquidated, or money's going to start running out for shorts. And that's TA, but it's also kind of like, you're just basic logic in psychology, just basic logic. So if you add all those up, if you look at the relative strength index, you look at the different moving averages, definitely volume for support and resistance. If you do that, combine them all together with the funding and then all the like the Bollinger Bands, the bottom and the top of the Bollinger Bands, which is also like it's an average. I was reading about Bollinger a few days ago, and it's basically it's a type of moving average. Those bands at the top and the bottom is a type of moving average. But I think I can't remember I can't remember. It depends on like the time frame, whatever. But for me, it works like clockwork. It's a really good indicator. But you can see that it can break up or break down.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It can break out and it really depends on the range. And once you get to the weekly, all bets are off. You really don't know what's going to happen. Like if you get to the top of the weekly at the Bollinger, at the bottom of the weekly, you have no clue what might happen there. I don't care what anybody says. Like because like the top of the Bollinger for Ethereum, the last time, like we're at the top this time, but like last time, which was like maybe 13, 14 weeks ago, was 205. And then Ethereum went to 292. And so for it to go to like 292 when the top is 205, it means all bets are off. Like that's a significant move beyond the Bollinger.
Yeah.
But everybody that saw that move knew what goes up must come down, and at some point it's going to reverse. It's going to come down, and it's going to come down hard. And like that if it comes back within the Bollinger, it's over. Like you just know. And people like to criticize people who try to have confidence or try to know something for sure. I'm telling you, if the price leaves the Bollinger and it goes massively, it just runs, it moons, and it dumps back down, and it comes back within it. Usually, it's going back to the other end.
For the weekly.
For the weekly, for the 5-day, for basically for every chart, if it comes back within, like, because you know how like with the 5-minute, it'll break out and it'll just go.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying that if it comes back down within the Bollinger, it tends to, like I would say 99% of the time, it's going back to the other end, to the bottom. It's heading to the bottom.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. We're at 32 now. It's at 32, and the price is still kind of. No, it was 9.711 or whatever when we got on. Now it's 9.722.
So it says 9.725 or what? Never mind. I'm looking at the USDT.
The real question is like the DYDX strategy, and what should one do with DYDX? Like Nuo and DYDX, what is the best way to optimize, utilize them? I think what we're doing with AVA is going to probably, and now with the whole version 1, version 2 thing is going to be crazy. The ability to do the arbitrage across is going to be crazy. I was looking at that, and there's already kind of people trading it, trading AVA on both version.
Looks like it's trying to go up right now.
It is trying to go up.
9.735.
And I got a short on Ethereum, and it seems like it's about to go into profit.
That's crazy.
Which is weird right now.
It's very weird.
Bitcoin's moving. Bitcoin's moving. Making a move.
Yeah, I really don't know what to like do with this shit.
Honestly, man, the safest thing to do is to just take a 5x leverage position. Don't use more, because I told you there was like a trading competition. ByBit had a trading competition, and this guy was just talking. He won it, and he was talking about how he won, and he basically said like he lost. He said he lost like 4 Bitcoin when he first started trading on ByBit, and then he learned to just never use more than 5x.
Yeah.
That was like his strategy. He just never
came
used
there
it.
with 4 Bitcoin now.
Yeah, but I'm saying he lost it.
Well, he lost.
He lost it. He lost it. You know what I'm saying? Like he had 4, but he lost it, and then he ended up being like a trading champion on there. Like he does these trading competitions. There's trading competitions on ByBit, and he came in like first place for a few. And he had a video. He was explaining how he came in first place. He was basically just saying he just never uses more than 5x leverage, ever. Like that's like a rule that he just sticks to. He's just like, because you think that you can't get wrecked, but you can, man. It's like Jason, you know. It's a horror movie. You know, he's moving slow, and you think, oh, he's not gonna catch me. He always does. He always catches you, and it's just not worth it. He also said something crazy, which was don't even set a stop loss, which was, you know, I think that's insane, because when you're about to get liquidated, the number one thing that you're thankful that you've set is a stop loss, because bare minimum you save 30% of your money.
See that
at the bottom,
you
end,
know, he could set a stop loss, you know, like $100, you know, above his liquidation, you know.
Look, his reasoning. This was his reasoning. I didn't say this. This is what this dude said.
Yeah.
Okay, this was his reasoning. His reasoning for not setting a stop loss was that, okay, he didn't say in so many words that there's a liquidity engine or a stop loss liquidation engine or anything like that. That's like a liquidation algorithm that's searching for liquidations. He just basically said that if you set a stop loss, it'll get hit.
Oh yeah, your stop loss will get hit.
He said if you set a stop loss, it's going to get hit. Now, if you were working at like a fund, if you're trading for a fund, they would set it 2%. Like 2% is the standard. Like that's the standard is 2%. And when you first get on there, the automatic standard is 5%, and it seems like that's normal. Like 5%. But you know, the truth is, if your leverage like a 3.75x leverage, which even on DyDx, you know, Maria was talking about how she had got liquidated a few times or almost got liquidated with 3.75. So if you have 3.75x leverage, though, your liquidation is going to be so low that the only way for you to really get liquidated or really be at risk, I think, is if you are buying at the top of the bowling.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
long at the top of the range. You're trying to long from the top of the range.
You're buying where you shouldn't buy from.
Right. Or you're trading against the trend. Like sometimes there'll be like a massive trend, and you're like the long day or the short day or whatever. You're trying to long on the short day or short on the long day. That's the only, and it just happens to just go against you. But even if you're trading 3.75x leverage, you're basically trading the daily and the weekly. You're not really you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're trading the daily and the weekly. You may not know that that's what you're trading, but that's what you're trading, because you're never gonna make enough money with the 5 minute, the hour, the short little ranges. You're not gonna make enough that's gonna make you happy. That's gonna make you content to take profits in those positions. But a smart way of trading that a lot of people do that use a lot of leverage is they take 10% or 5% of their money and they'll trade that like 50x, 30x, even 100x for and they'll get right in at these points of support and resistance and have their stop loss tight right there. But those fees, those market fees for the stop loss will crush you if you have a lot of leverage. So the best way to deal with that is to use conditionals, and sometimes the limit order conditionals don't go through. Conditionals, you know, is where you can set a trigger price, and when the price hits that trigger price, it'll automatically set a limit order for an execution price that you set. But if you're using it as a stop loss so you can avoid fees, you have to do multiple ones. The advantage of a conditional is you don't have to actually have the money. If you don't have the money and it goes to try to put the order in, it'll just cancel. It'll just basically cancel the order. So you can anticipate getting stopped out and also have conditionals set to buy. And that's another issue. And you were talking about this before. You were talking about how, like, if the price goes, if you get stopped out, it's usually because the price has dramatically shifted and now it's going short.
Mm-hmm.
It shifted directions, and you wanted to have an order where if you did get stopped out, then you immediately would start shorting. Right? You can do that with conditionals, but even in that case, the ideal situation is that you're doing limit orders, because the more leverage you use, the more the fees just crush you, unless you're doing limit orders, then you're getting paid those fees. And so the ideal situation is you do limit orders. The problem is limit orders might not go through if you critically need it. If the price is moving fast enough, your limit order is not going to go through. And you can't rely on it as like, and then you have, but what's smart to do is to set limit orders to sell off parts of your position if it starts to go against you, and then have a stop loss set in place as an emergency. Oh my God, this might not go my way type of deal. So that's the best scenario. That's the best way to use high leverage. The only way to use high leverage that I can imagine is to pick and pop with support, with a lot of support, have conditionals there, but then also have that emergency stop loss behind you. It's going to be what it's going to be. Even if you had a stop loss right at the price that you bought at, you're still going to be paying more in fees than it's worth it. So I think it's going to just long. I think we just got to long it. Yo, this has turned into a 52-minute call, dog.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you wanted, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just yapping crypto. It's just yapping crypto. Just yapping this crypto. I'm trying to go to Planet Naboo. You know, I was listening to Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. I shared it in the group. Did you see it? Did you see when I shared it?
No, I see it.
Dog, it was like you need to watch that. It's ridiculous. Like it's intense, and it's really good quarantine lockdown content. It's like really it's because everybody that was in the comment section of it was you could tell that the reason why it showed up in my feed was because people started watching it today and yesterday, but it's a year old. It was published a year ago, but Alex Jones he was going off the rails. It's like he was nonstop. You think I'm nonstop right now? He was nonstop, and most of his stuff was crazy. Some of his stuff was making sense, but most of it was just ridiculous. Like everything, it was intense. That's the main thing. The intensity of it was crazy. You gotta watch it because it's just really intense. But I think I'm gonna keep longing.
Wait. Are you longing or are you shorting right now?
I'm longing. I'm longing, but this is what I'm saying. I'm longing.
What's your price?
My price is 9,763. So I'm down because it's 9,742. 43.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 9,739. So it's like kind of going down. Now here's the thing: the red line in the center of the Bollinger, the cross is 9,000.
What are we talking about? We're talking about I'm looking at the 2 hour. What chart are you looking at?
I'm looking at the daily. I'm looking at the daily. Yeah, and
yeah.
There's like, all right. To be honest.
Well. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. To be honest, it's looking like I should get out of this position altogether. Like I should just get out. Like I would take a $2 loss if I got out.
Yeah.
Right. The problem is it's trending up, and the lows are getting higher, and I'm not really using that much leverage anyway. So it's kind of like, I think my liquidation. Let me see what my liquidation is. Actually, I am kind of using like 13x leverage. My liquidation is 9,135. The position is not that big. The position only 4.14 BTC. Like 1,000 contract, like 1,300 contract. Because all my orders are lower, to like buy lower. But I think it's better. Normally, what I would do is I would short on the other side, on the USDT side. You know what I mean? But this thing has been faking out. Like every time it seems like it's going to go down at all, it just goes back up.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna try to finish this thing.
Finish what?
I'm gonna close this out.
Oh, close out your position?
No, I'm gonna end this call because the actual audio would probably be too long for me to even upload to the show. So I'm gonna end this because it's in segments. There's multiple segments. I can always edit it. You know what I mean? But the file is gonna be one whole audio file. So I'm gonna close this. And I'm gonna see if I can even do it. If I can upload.